Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisance of all gratitude to Prabhupada. Welcome to devotees to today's morning class. Today we'll be discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 18, verse 50. And this is the last verse in this chapter. The conclusion of the chapter is how Marsh Parikshit was cursed by the Brahmin boy. And we are very happy to have His Holiness Candramauli Swami with us, who's going to be concluding this verse and hopefully the whole chapter to give us a really good view, a summary of the whole topic. And Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you and Prabhupada Maharaj. And it's all yours.
Yeah. He brought to reality here. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Let's see here. Mayasa sarvo loke prayadvandve suyotikaha navajanti navijyanti yata atma gunatrayaha. Generally, the transcendentalists, even though engaged by others in the dualities of the material world, are not distressed, nor do they take pleasure in worldly things, for they are transcendentally engaged. Therefore, the transcendentalists are the empiric philosophers, the mystics, and the devotees of the Lord. Empirical philosophers aim at the perfection of merging into the being of the Absolute. Mystics aim at perceiving the all-pervading Supersoul. The devotees of the Lord are engaged in transcendental loving service to the personality of Godhead. Since Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan are different phases of the same transcendence, all these transcendentalists are beyond the three modes of material nature. The feel distress and happiness are products of the three modes, and therefore the causes of such material distress and happiness have nothing to do with the transcendentalists. The king was a devotee and the rishi was a mystic. Therefore, both of them were unattached to the accidental incident created by the supreme will. The playful child was an instrument fulfilling the Lord's will. And the Gyan Kindaranda Shyagyanajana Salakaya, Natsu Unya Vitamya Yasa, Sri Chaitanya Visham Sapi Kamya Bhutama, Vayam Rupa Kidamayam Yadati Smakam, Mom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthana Vikalai, Kumasti Bhakti Vedanta, Swami Nityaname Namaste, Swami Bhakti Vedanta, Gauravani Pachari Nayam Visesa Sriya Vahari Pastyapya Vedanta, Vanchakalpa Tarubhaspya Kipa Sindhu Tarubhapya Patitanam Pavane Yo Vaishnava Yo Nirvana Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sri Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. So yeah, so this verse in purport refers to the incident where Maharaj Parikshit was cursed by the Brahmin boy Srini, and both the father of the boy and Maharaj Parikshit were more or less players in this game that was arranged by the Supreme Lord for the speaking of the Srimad Bhagavatam and for the elevation of Maharaj Parikshit to go back home, back to Godhead. So this is fundamentally very important to understand that for one who's engaged in devotional service, whatever happens or doesn't happen, there's a reason which is beneficial for the devotee. Those who are mixed devotees who still have material desires and they're trying to fill material desires while they're executing devotional service cannot really understand how things are working, either positively or apparently negatively. But a devotee who is fixed in devotional service sees the hand of Krishna in everything. And this hand of Krishna is not something imaginary, it is actually the reality. Because the hand of the Lord is not only in everybody's life, but even in their thoughts. As Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, if you want remembrance, I give it. I give forgetfulness, and I also give knowledge. And the Lord is the ultimate remote cause of everything, both material and spiritual. But he works through his different energies to make things happen. And for the devotee who is engaged fully in his devotional service, they are under the Daivi Shakti, the spiritual energy. So it looks like Maharaj Parikshit was unfairly cursed. And when we read the purports in some of the previous verses, we find that that statement is given. He should have never been cursed. The boy was just acting in the wrong way. He was trying to show off in front of his playmates just to use his power. And apparently he was a little disturbed, but not the reaction to his disturbance was way beyond the level of the activity that Maharaj Parikshit did. It wasn't such an offensive thing he did. Of course, it was. He did transgress proper etiquette, and apparently there was a reason for that, and so it wasn't so serious. But the boy went way beyond. So therefore, the devotee, as it says here, Maharaj Parikshit had the power to counteract that curse because of his power in devotional service. But he accepted it as the hand of the Lord. And therefore, that was the Lord's will, because he knew. The devotees who are fixed in devotional service, they see Krishna in everything. They look for Krishna in everything. Not only do they see it, but they look for Krishna in everything. And by their intelligence and by the practice of their devotional service, they're able to evaluate how things are happening and why they're happening. And they always take advantage of that. Maharaj Parikshit, he had, from a material point of view, a nice arrangement. You know, nice family, powerful kingdom, resources, no enemies. Everything was ideal for his duty as a king. But, you know, Krishna thought, all right, I need someone to bring about the speaking of the Bhagavatam. And so he arranged it in this way. And the pure devotee accepts the arrangement of the Lord, knowing that there is some reason why things are happening, some good reason, some beneficial reason. And that's how devotees see things. We have the example of my disciple Janakinath, and of course, Bhakti Tirtha Swami too. Both of them were under the influence, apparently, of some disease. But they accepted it as the mercy of the Lord and took the advantage to leave this material world and attain to the spiritual kingdom. So that's how a devotee accepts things. Sometimes they try to counteract, but when in their counteracting, they're always aware that ultimately it may be the arrangement of the Lord. And so they do something in that direction to counteract the apparent misery or anomaly that comes upon them. But then they don't put much energy into it, much effort into it. The Maharaj Parikshit, he knew all he had to do was use his power as a king, as a pure devotee, and he could have, but he saw that there was a greater message coming. So he accepted that. And he said, oh, here's a chance to go back home, back to Godhead. And therefore he prepared himself. And so this is also very instructive. We should always be preparing ourselves to leave the world, because leaving the world is not planned by us, it's planned by higher powers. And therefore, no one knows exactly when that time will come. So a devotee lives in such a way as to not to make big plans to become happy in the material world. If they have some responsibility with family and occupation, they do it in the minimal way in order to maintain their body and soul and practice Krishna consciousness. In other words, they do what's necessary and not more than that. And because their main business is not to make a nice arrangement here, but to make an arrangement which allows them to do their service, and so they can prepare themselves to go back and back to Godhead. So one has to always be aware of the time factor and how it works, and then it works according to Krishna, because Krishna says only in time. He is time manifested in the impersonal aspect of the material energy. And so that time factor is never under the control of the conditioned souls. The devotee is always thinking, this could be my last day, so let me serve in such a way as that I become ideal in my service, in my glorification of the Lord, in my relationships with the other devotees. They don't live in the future, they live in the present. I saw a little cartoon just the other day, someone showed me. There was a little was done in an animated way, but it had a nice message. It says, the past is history, the future is mystery. Past is history, the future is mystery. The present, now is a gift, and that's why it's called presence. Now is a gift, therefore it's called presence. So therefore, yeah, now is the most important time. We can only live in the present. So living in the present means to live in Krishna consciousness at every moment and not postpone our spiritual life for a later date. Because there is no such thing as a later day, it's always now. And one who lives in the present lives, one who lives in the past laments, and one who lives in the future simply dreams. So yeah, here both, and the Rishi too, Samik Rishi, he was a mystic yogi. Both of them regretted how the boy acted, but none of them did anything to try to counteract it. And it says both of them were aloof from all of these things. So as it says here, generally even though engaged by others in dualities of the material world, are not distressed. Sometimes the materialists will drag a devotee into something mundane, but the devotee doesn't get, attracted or disturbed by that. They simply have to tolerate it and go on and their Krishna consciousness. Okay, so let's see, what else can we mention about this material? And distress and happiness are two sides of the material energies, gifts to the living entity. Sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're distressed. Sometimes people are happy over other people who are distressed, and sometimes people are distressed when other people are happy. So the happiness and distress is just the illusionary energy working to make things happen favorably or unfavorably according to our own estimation of how things should go on. But a devotee just learns how to see Krishna's hand in everything, take advantage of that, and remember Krishna, and pray to Krishna, and take the opportunity to use the situation to become Krishna conscious. And so it says here, both of them were unattached to the accidental incident created by the Supreme Will. It's interesting, the word accidental incident, and then created by the Supreme Will. So the Supreme Will created something that looked like an accident. But in the ultimate sense, it was meant to happen in that way. When Krishna wants something to happen, there's nothing anybody can do. It's mentioned in the 7th canto when the demons and the devotees, demons and the demigods were fighting. And the demons had Maya Donovan on their side, and he was a mystic. And he had created this well of water, which was like a life-giving elixir. So when the demons were killed, he would take their body and throw it into this well, and then they would get this life-giving elixir, and then they would come back to life and with even more power before and continue to fight. So the demigods were getting frustrated. They were killing the demons, but they were coming back again. So the demigods, headed by Indra, decided to go to Lord Brahma and tell him the situation. Brahma came up with an idea that he and Shiva would turn into a calf and a cow. And they came onto the scene and they started drinking the elixir, both the calf and the cow. When Mayadanava saw what was happening, he understood this was the will of the Supreme Lord. And it says that you plan something and I plan something, but our plans don't really mean anything. It's the plan of the Supreme that is the real plan, and that plan will unfold accordingly. So when the demons saw what was happening, they couldn't do anything because ultimately Mayadhanava had said, it's the will of the Lord. There's nothing we can do. So they accepted it in that way. And Prabhupada writes in that same way, you have your plans, I have my plans, but Krishna's plans is the real plan. So devotees have to align themselves with the plan of the Lord, and then their plan will always be fulfilled. And the plan of the Lord is not contrary to the benefit of the devotee. In fact, it fulfills the needs of the devotees at every step. Therefore, success means to find out what is the plan of the devotee, what is the plan of the Lord, and how do you do that? By approaching the spiritual master and asking him, how best can I serve? And then the spiritual master's duty is to engage the devotee according to how best that they can serve and make progress in Krishna consciousness. And that's ultimately the plan of the Lord. The plan of the Lord is he wants everyone to come back to him in devotion. That's his ultimate plan. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much for concluding this chapter and giving us actually a good summary of the whole chapter, why Maharaj Parikshit was cursed by the Brahmin boy. I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to request devotees to please, if you can, wherever you are, if you're able to please turn on your videos so that we can see each other and take it as association. And if you have any questions, any clarification or doubt, please do raise your hand. I'm going to okay, I got it up. So if you have any questions, any comments, please do raise your hand and I will call upon you in the order that I see. Marge, okay, Marge, I have a question and I'm trying to pull up my question here. Hare Krishna. I don't like. Marge, when you said, live in the moment instead of in the future, and many times the mind just runs into the future more than living in the moment or in the past. Like we put more, if we were to look on a percentage level, we spend so much time in the future and the past, not so much in the moment. How can we really develop that consciousness of living in the moment at the present?
Well, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, in his beautiful poem, he has one couplet, 4 lines. He says, forget the past that sleeps, ne'er the future dream at all. Act in times with that are with thee, and progress we shall call. The past is gone, we can learn from the past. The future is simply a dream. We can plan for the future, but we have to live in the present. So the future really depends on the quality of the activities that we perform in the present. Because ultimately there's no such thing as future, because it's always the present. The future is just a mind projection based on the element of material time. That something will happen. in a later part of my life. That's called future. But if you live in the present and you become Krishna conscious in the present, you'll be Krishna conscious in the future. If you think, I'll postpone my Krishna consciousness now for the future, when I'm in the future, then I'll be Krishna conscious. Then that future will never come. It's just an idea. So the present is the only reality. So if you want, whatever you're doing now, whatever you're thinking about now, apply it to your day-to-day life and devotional service. Now,
Thank you, Marge. I will definitely.
people think it's not so good now, but it'll be better in the future.
That's so true, Marge. I've heard that. And then they hope that it's going to get better, and it just doesn't seem to get better.
Yeah, hope it brings home.
That's true, Marge. Thank you, Marge. Yes, Balaji. I'm sorry, Marge.
Yeah, Balaji.
Yes, go ahead, Balaji Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dhanavad Pranams, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj, you said, we have to align with Lord's, plan. But in Bhagavad Gita, in the last chapter, Lord has said that Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja. So we have to give up everything and then, surrender on to Him, right? So how do we know what is His plan, and do we really need to think about that, Maharaj?
Yeah, the Guru engages you in devotional service. Krishna says surrender. He says he's asking us to give up your own ideas on how you can be happy in this world and simply accept his way, which is devotional service. He's asking you to do what's best for you.
Okay, Maharaj.
Yeah, because we think we know better, we think we know what's best for us. But we don't. Even if we have some idea, Krishna's plan is always better. Because he says, Suhidam Sarvadeham, I'm the friend of all of them. He is Suhit. Suhit means the best friend. That friend who knows what is best for you. So we accept Krishna that he knows more than I do about what's good for me. And just try to find out that plan, or how to come to that plan, is the duty of the spiritual master to impart that to the disciples.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Balaji Prabhu. Very nice question. Any questions from devotees, please do raise your hand and I will call upon you. Marge, another question that I have is, you touched upon Shringi, because he was so immature that he was showing off to his friends. But also we know that, everything is planned by the Lord because he wanted the Bhagavatam to be heard. But going back to the point of immaturity, Maharaj, the concept of immaturity and showing off. Sometimes we come across situations today where devotees struggle with that, immature and showing off that I'm a devotee of the Lord. How can we develop the maturity and humility?
Well, the Lord will work with the anomalies that devotees have, and he'll turn it into into some way of correction, which will bring the person back to where he's supposed to. So, although the Lord is not bewildered by how our wrong activities, because he knows how to adjust that to bring us back to where we're supposed to be. Of course, that's if we accept. But we have no problem with that. But immaturity means to waste time and think that the devotional service is for gaining something material. It's for serving the Lord and purifying the heart. And ultimately going back to the spiritual world. When you accept the ultimate principle, then you have to work to make that, to align yourself with that principle. And so the etiquette of a Vaishnava, the behavior of the Vaishnava, is more or less the mood by which the Vaishnava aligns themselves up with the plan of the Lord by following the Lord's direction through the spiritual master, who teaches the devotee not only what to do, but how to do it. And how, the how element is the etiquette that devotees use. Proper behavior. Yeah, if you want to be receptive to something, you have to be in a receptive mood. You're in a challenging mood or you're somewhat less attentive, then you can't be receptive. Carrying out the thing is the second stage. Receptivity and understanding is the first thing. So when behavior is proper, or when consciousness is in the right state, and then receptivity becomes easier. We have to practice that.
We have to practice to align ourselves with the rules and regulations, Maharaj, of devotional service that's pleasing to the Lord and to the Guru.
But yeah, and the behavior that is
Behavior.
that makes the devotional service pleasing. The etiquette, the consciousness. There's people who serve to please the Lord, and there's people who serve to gain something from the Lord. Both are directing their attention towards the Lord. One is trying to get something, and one is trying to give something.
Thank you, Maharaj. Really, really strong points. Thank you. Shridevi Mataji, go ahead.
Thank you, Anasia. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my most humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj, I have this question about the plan of the Lord. We know that the plan of the Lord is the best plan because he's our ever well-wisher. But at the same time, on the practical level, we may have fear of the unknown. May have fear of what is to come if I do this, or how can I do this, or what is going to happen to me if I do this. So how do we overcome these fears which plague the mind and block us from putting our foot forward?
There's a statement by the Lord. He says, in all situations, just depend on him. If you depend on the Lord, why should you be fearful? If you depend on your own abilities and your own plans, then there's cause for fear. Depend on him, execute your activities, but depend on him for the mercy. And the greater the endeavor, or the more important, you might reason with the word, the more we should depend on the Lord. So you have to give it. So if you have to cook something, that you can do. So you might also depend on the Lord to help you cook nicely. But then if you have to give a Bhagavatam class in Mayapur, so that requires more dependence on the Lord and more prayer, because it's more overwhelming, it's more, what we say, hard to align our consciousness easily with that service unless we really depend on the Lord. So why fear simply comes when you realize that you're the doer. As long as you think you're the doer, you're going to be fearful.
Yes, Guru Maharaj, I understand this in theory, but I have doubts, I have trust issues, I have my own anarthas. So for me, I think going deeper into my chanting is the only solution for me to learn to depend on the Lord.
That's one way. But just take take the principle. He says, depend on me.
Okay,
Why
thank
should
you.
why should we argue with that principle?
Yes, Guru Maharaj, thank you.
Maharaj, to piggyback on Sri Devi's question, I was remembering a sentence that that I read in one of Sri Prabhupada's lecture transcription, where he said, to the degree that we think we are independent, to that degree we are dependent. But still, Maharaj, we just don't get it. And I'm just thinking, is like Sri Devi said, we got to go deeper in our chanting. And is that the only solution, Marge, or do we have to do more than just the chanting? Like, do we have to, reading, association? Like, I'm just trying to think how to speed up the process.
It's a matter of building your faith. If your faith is weak, your enthusiasm will not be there, and then doubts will also come. So you have to fortify and build your faith through association with devotees and through reading the books. Chanting is also there. If we take the words of Srila Prabhupada as the words of Krishna, which they are, then we're getting the words of Krishna directly coming to us in the form of transcendental knowledge. We have to read them and try to understand them.
Marge, that was a powerful statement you said about taking the words of Sri Prabhupada as the words of Krishna. That's really powerful, Marge. Wow.
It's a fact.
Yes. Yes. Wow.
So if we don't read the book, then how can anybody help you? You don't associate with the devotees, and how can people help? These things are fundamental. to receiving the knowledge which will build our faith.
Thank you, Maharaj. Maharaj, that's a question here by Ileana. Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. We are always instruments of the Lord, even when we are unaware of our actions. What is the difference between a materialistic person who is unaware of his actions and a devotee who is aware if the result is the same behavior? What role does awareness have of one's actions play in spiritual life?
A lot. It's not a mindless program. We're not robots.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you, and all glories to Devot.
Yeah, so devotional service means to serve with a desire to please. And so that means being aware of the service, how to execute the service, and developing the mood of wanting to please. In other words, we want the Lord to accept our service. We want the devotees to accept our service. So that awareness in Krishna consciousness is Krishna consciousness. We call it Krishna conscious, not Krishna unconscious. You want to be Krishna unconscious, then keep it in the mystic mind.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you. I hope that helped,
Thank you.
Ileana.
Yeah,
It helped. Okay.
you have to be aware. You can't be mindless. Mindless means spaced out. Spaced out means there's nothing up, nothing in the cerebral part of your body. It's just air. Most Prabhupada said cow dung instead of, brain filled with cow dung instead of filled with transcendental knowledge.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you.
Maharaj, there's another question here from Dear Krishna, and he said, Hare Krishna, Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you. Thank you for the great class. My question is how to determine what is under our circle of influence and what is outside, and when to fight back and when to surrender.
All of that requires some knowledge. Nobody can do that for you. You have to gain that quality to know what's within your circle and what is not. And when to oppose something and when to go along with something. That's common sense. That comes by practicing devotional service. But you should also practice how to develop that's characteristic. Nobody can do it for you. You can get the fortification of the knowledge that's needed through the process of bhakti, but nobody, when it comes actually to when you're faced with these situations, then you have to apply that knowledge. That's all. Knowledge means application. It doesn't simply mean theoretical understanding, and then it's left at that. When we say we have to be tolerant, we have to practice tolerance. Not just like, oh, I have to be tolerant, but I don't practice it. No, you have to practice it. You have to see what is your duty and what is not your duty. You say sphere of influence, you're speaking about those things that you're responsible for, those things that are not, you're not responsible. You have to know.
Marge, if I can piggyback on Dear Krishna's question about when to fight and surrender, and you said it's, knowledge means application, it's common sense. Sometimes, Marge, we come across situations where, and I see it happening, and I just don't know how to deal with it. When we're supposed to fight, we don't fight. When we're supposed to surrender, we don't surrender. We got it the other way around. What causes that, Marge? Why does that happen?
Ignorance.
Ignorance. Wow, Krishna.
If you know, then you know how to act. You don't know, then it means you're in ignorance. And you get out of ignorance and you get the knowledge needed. You can gain the knowledge in 1 second if you aspire for it. Try for it.
And Marge, how do we deal with that ignorance?
My ignorance is just a shadow of reality. The principle is knowledge, and when knowledge is not there, it's ignorance. Fill the gap with knowledge, and then there's no ignorance.
Thank you, Marge. This is very powerful. Wow. Devotees, please do shoot your questions. Please do send them. This is very powerful questions, very powerful discussion. We're getting, straight up, simple, to the sweet, short form of answers. You can't get it any better than this, in my humble opinion. So please do post your questions, and anything that's coming to mind, please do raise your hand and ask, so we can really, get the answers that we've been carrying in our minds for so long. Marge,
Yeah, I can
yes,
give
Marge.
I can give you the theoretical principle by which you can understand, but the
Yes, Marge.
application comes from you based on the situation. Since I'm speaking theoretically, I'm not using any situation. But when situations are there, then you can be more precise on how to apply according to that particular situation.
Yes, Marge. Thank you. Any questions from the, yes, Parikshit, go ahead.
Krishna Maharaj, please accept humble obeisances. All glories to Prabhupada. It's wonderful to hear and hear and hear and hear. And today is a huge example of why that's so true. I don't have a question, but I'm almost to tears in appreciation of this lecture. I'm going to hear it over and over and over again. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for by your response means that you understand.
Yes, Marge. It's really deep, Marge. I have to definitely second Parikshit's comment. This is a class, I think, the points, the questions, the answers is really, as I say, hit the nail on the head, or some that American slang, whatever that slang is, just like right on. We get it or we don't get it. It's really, really deep. And I really hope devotees are really taking all the points to heart and meditating on it throughout the day. Really, really deep. Thank you so much. Any questions from devotees? Anything that's coming to you? Sri Devi, you look like your mind is running. I can just see it. Anything that's coming.
I'm just thinking how uncanny it is that Guru Maharaj said, you may have to give Srimad Bhagavatam class, and that's exactly what is happening tomorrow. And it's only by Gurudev's mercy that I'll be able to do that, because it's very challenging for me. So Guru Maharaj, please shower me with your blessings, because I'm very incompetent, foolish, unqualified, lazy, disturbed, and totally useless. I cannot do this. I feel very incompetent at present, honestly. Even though I have prepared, even though I have read for 5 days, still I'm nervous like I don't know. Anyway, I humbly beg for the blessings of all the Vaishnavas and Gurudev.
Yeah, just consider that this is a great opportunity for advancement. Great opportunity to enlighten others in Krishna consciousness. It's a great opportunity to purify your own self and get over these hurdles of fear and hesitation and accept these things as opportunities for making advancement in spirituality. You can see it.
My most humble obeisances and grateful thanks at your lotus feet, Gurudev. Thank you.
You can see the same thing in 5 or 6, 7 different ways. But there's one right way, and there's every other way you see it is not actually the way to see it. If you accept the principle of service and you're given that service, and the service appears to be challenging, then you have to understand, all right, it's going to be challenging. What am I going to do? I can study, but that's not enough. What I do is just I study, and then when it comes time for the lecture, I pray to the spiritual master, I pray to the Prabhupada, pray to Krishna that please enter my mind and say the words that I need to say. If you're sincere and you really want to make a difference to those who are hearing, Krishna will help you. The more we depend on the Lord and the Lord's mercy coming through the spiritual master, the more we're free from the anxiety that we are, I'm the doer,
Thank you, Maharaj. Very, very good points. Amazing. Yes, Namrata, go ahead. Namrata, now when I call your name, I'm waiting for your new name, just to give you a hint, just to share that little joy in me. But go ahead, Namrata.
Same here. I'm also waiting for the new name. Krishna.
I'm going to give her a new name. Her name is going to be Raka Nam instead of Nam.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Actually, even I'm waiting for the new name, because Guru Maharaj already told me he really likes my name. So I'm just wondering what is the new name he wants to give me.
We will wait for the auspicious moment. Until then, we will wait patiently. Go ahead, Namrata, with your question.
We'll call you Mumbai Mataji. That would be your new name.
Please, I humbly request, please give me a transcendental name, Guru Maharaj.
All right, we'll say Mataji Mumbai instead of that.
That almost sounds like the mafia, Guru Maharaj. It's a Mumbai.
It
It's
does.
associated with the mafia. Mumbai and mafia are synonymous.
If you grew up in New Vrindavan, you can understand what I'm saying.
Okay, that's that. We have to ask that from you when we see you in person, March. What is that twist in that New Vrindavan thingy?
They gave names according to, I don't know. I can't, the rationale behind I can only explain, but I don't understand.
March, I remember one devotee, and as you're speaking, I'm remembering a couple of things. One devotee said to me that in New Vrindavan, she was born in New Vrindavan, and whatever the mentality and the rationale was with that, if she was given the name Karma Yoga, and she hated her name so much, and she couldn't wait to get initiated to get her name changed, which did. She said, "I never liked my name Karma Yoga."
It's just interesting because I was just with her husband. I met him. He was in
Naveen.
Naveen Krishna. He was in my class when I was in Mayapur. And yeah, now she's Krishna Priya.
Yeah, she's the one, Maharaj. She's the one. That's right. She couldn't wait to get initiated because she said, I just wanted to get my name changed. She said, I don't know why my parents named me Karma Yoga. What a name.
Well, her father's name starts with a K. Her mother's name starts with a K. Her brother's name starts with a K. I guess they ran out of K's, so they gave it Karma.
Oh my goodness. Yes, Maharaj. Namrata, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mataji.
That wasn't as bad as one devotee did Chaturmasya. With the whole thing for 4 months. He ate khichdi only for 4 months. And after the 4 months was over, Chaturmasya was over, he got married, he had a son, and they named his son Khichdi. That was his name. He still goes by that name.
Hare Krishna Chaitanya. Maharaj, I wonder if there are names like Jalebi and Gulab Jamuns and all.
There is, there was one, one devotee, they gave his little girl's name, and they named her Jalebi. Yeah,
Hare Krishna.
that was the Vrindavan.
Vrindavan Mafia. There you go, Sri Devi. Vrindavan Mafia.
We'll call you, let me see, Picasso. How about that? You must be Picasso. Picasso is the famous artist.
Yeah, yeah. Oh boy. Oh, Maharaj. Oh, I can't believe those stories of the names. Hare Krishna. Amazing. Namrata.
There's another one where one devotee, he had his second son, so the community later gave him the name Ananta for the boy's name, which was a nice name, but it meant that's the end. No more kids.
Oh, no more kids. Oh, I thought it meant like finish this life and go back to Godhead. There's no more kids. Okay.
Ananta, that's the last one. So it's an hour. But he was doing a business. He was making these candy bars, and he set up a little business. And he used to call the bars yogi bars. So he would sell them. So after he had a second son, he decided to have another kid. Another boy was born, and the temple leader told him not to have any more. So he named the boy Yogi Bar. And so he still goes by the name Yogi. They dropped the bar part, call him Yogi.
Maharaj, you have some really amazing New Vrindavan stories, Maharaj.
I don't know if they're amazing, but
Hare Krishna. I'm sorry, Namrata. Go ahead.
Maharaj has already changed the entire mood of the series, what was going on. I was supposed to ask a serious kind of question, and now everything is in the humorous mode.
I apologize. It's my fault. I'm sorry.
Okay, sorry, Maharaj, for this, because I have to ask this. So, when usually this is what I face. So the difference between react and respond, that is what I want to know, because usually in the practical situation, theoretically we do read in the shastras what is the difference, but then when the situation comes, when the spontaneous situation comes, we tend to forget the difference between the react and respond. So
Well, yeah, reacting is something you do based on your conditioning. The way the thing comes to you, you have a tendency to react according to your condition. A response is something that is more thoughtful. So you wouldn't want to respond to something and not react to something. React is like pushing the button. The response is more like thinking about how you're going to, you reciprocate with this situation. Reacting really doesn't allow for thought. It just happens automatically. It's a condition of our conflict. We react in a certain way, but they may not be correct or beneficial or proper. So if you're into response, means to think about how to respond, how to give back. You want to get away from this reacting thing because it's more an element of our conditioning.
element
Of our conditioning,
of
our
Okay.
material.
So usually, Guru Maharaj, what happens is, since we are into reading the scriptures, so I don't react instantaneously, but then sometimes it happens that I'm reacting in my mind. I'm not. I'm not taking it out in the form of words, because I want to think at that time what the situation has happened. I do want to think at that time, but then the reaction does happen in my mind. So it should, how to control that, or is it? I know for sure it's not healthy when reacting in mind.
Well, there's no offense or no negativity coming upon you if you react in the mind, but if it allows to stay in the mind, if you're conditioned to react in the mind, then there is a tendency that it may also come out in the form of words or actions. So you have to remove that reactive type of mindset by being more thoughtful. So as soon as you want to react, replace it with thoughtfulness as opposed to, coming to reacting means finishing the response to something. This thoughtfulness means to think, oh, how do I respond to this situation? So I think you just read it. It was in the 18th chapter of the same first chapter, in verse number 7, in the very beginning of the purport. It says that negative thoughts or sinful thoughts in the mind do not count against the person, because in the age of Kali, there is so much pollution that This concession is given to the conditioned souls. It's only when they speak it or when they act upon it, and then the reactions come. But if you're thinking good or you're reacting in a spiritual way, then even if you don't speak it, then you get benefit for that. That's a certain concession given to the conditioned souls in this age, probably because of the deterioration of the age. So, but the danger is leaving it in the mind and accepting that type of response. Then easily it may also come out in the form of words or activities. And then you get implicated.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Very good question, Namrata. Thank you so much.
I can complete. Thank you very much.
Any questions from devotees that you would like to ask? Please do raise your hand, going down the list so I don't miss anyone here. And if there isn't, Marge, would you like to end with a round of chanting, Marge?
Yeah. Today,
Perfect.
time. Yeah.
Okay.
Please don't shut your camera off and then do something else while we're chanting. You're gonna
Yes.
be on board. If you don't want to put your camera on for whatever reason, simply join in the chanting.
And those of you that can turn your camera on with chanting, please do so. Thank you.
Because when everyone does the same activity together, everyone benefits from that. When people are pulling the other way, and then they're part of the same group doing something different, they're pulling that energy in another direction. It waters down the effects of the benefit that people get. So everyone should work together. If you don't want to chant, then best if you just click yourself off. But if you want to stay chant, camera on or camera off, it doesn't matter. But stay with the chanting and don't do household chores or whatever else you could possibly do. Okay, guys, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. No. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai.
Thank you so much, Maharaj, for such a wonderful, really, really deep, extremely thought-provoking class. And we thank all the devotees for joining us. Vanchaka pribhyascha kripasindhabevacha patitanam pavinebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His Holiness Chandramauli Swami ki jai.
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 Thank you
Hare
very much,
Krishna.
Maharaj. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Krishna, Krishna.